I want to get out to Hillary Clinton's eking out of a narrow victory over socialist Bernie Sanders in Iowa last night. But her relief over the razor-thin victory, that's probably pretty short-lived right now, because now she and Sanders are back on the campaign trail. This time it's in New Hampshire, where we are just 1 week away from the Granite State's primary. So what does Clinton's close call in Iowa mean for the rest of this race? Joining me right now, political strategist Mark Serrano and liberal commentator Danielle McLaughlin. Good to see both you guys right here on set for a change. It's nice. Thanks. Welcome.
Great to see you.
Were you surprised at all that it was this close in Iowa last night, Mark?
No, actually, I think what we've seen now is the beginning of the rebranding of the party. We should now just start calling it the Democrat Socialist Party from now on, because half of the electorate in Iowa has now embraced the socialist, who, by the way, was only at 4% in the polls a year ago. And so, I'm not really surprised. I thought that Bernie Sanders might eke it out and win. And after 7 years of this economy, Trish, we now see a huge portion of the Democrat Party wanting it to be the Democrat Socialist Party.
Do people really know what they're voting for when they're casting a vote or saying that they prefer Bernie Sanders, Danielle? I mean, do they know what they're signing up for?
I think they do. I think they do, and we're seeing a marked difference between those who are voting for Bernie and those who are voting for Hillary. So, Bernie is a big government guy. He wants to put a whole lot of programs in place. He wants free college education.
Well, kind of so does she. I mean, right? I mean, unless she's just getting pushed that far to the left. But she's talking about free college.
She's being pushed to the left.
She's talking about, parental leave that's paid for by the government. I mean, I guess fundamentally, and this is where she's really in a bad spot. Voters, they don't like the idea of someone who's getting pushed to one side or the other, not because they believe in this and have conviction about it, but because they feel they have to do this to get elected. And there's this lack of trust that the voter feels with Hillary Clinton that seems to be magnified in part because of this push to the left.
Look, if you're a Clinton, you're a chameleon, okay? She is very true to form. She is shifting far to the left. It's going to hurt them in the fall election after 7 years of the Obama administration. And so it's really interesting. What's interesting to me, too, Trish, is going into New Hampshire, is Bernie Sanders keeps showing up to gunfights with knives. The guy doesn't know how to fight. And he's about to get attacked mercilessly by the war room at the Clinton campaign. This is.
But doesn't that
he's
just
got
keep
to start to
him,
attack.
I mean, he's sort of indicated that
I don't think at this point
direction.
going into the primaries.
I think it does. I think it does. He's trying to play a really clean game here. He has said we don't want to see any of this name calling. He's been very, I would say, diplomatic or presidential about the email issues with Hillary Clinton. He's following Reagan's 11th Amendment, which is, don't attack your competitors, which we're not seeing in the GOP.
That's why
New Hampshire? He's going to lose New Hampshire?
No,
he's not going to lose.
He will lose
the
nomination fight if he doesn't start to really fight like you have to, in a nomination battle.
Yeah. I don't think it's just that.
Do you think he really wants to win? I mean, do you think he's just doing this because he's trying to push her more left? He's trying to push the party, so as you say, more to the social democrat
He wants to
party?
win. He wants to win. He wants
agree.
to, take it, to attack the 1%. The millionaires and the billionaires. He's going to.
That's pretty good, Mark.
He believes it to his core. I mean, look, when he was the mayor of Burlington, Vermont, he was an avowed socialist. He had he had a sister city in Russia, in Soviet Russia.
He honeymooned in Russia.
Bloomberg piece on this recently, where he is. They went back through the archives and they found evidence of him saying, he didn't think anybody should make more than $1 million. In other words, once you hit $1 million, boom, you're done. The government's taking every little dime thereafter.
Right.
So, this is something, though, that he's believed in for so many years, which is getting at something called authenticity, which is what this voter in this year's election wants. Authenticity. Donald Trump has that authentic quality about him, and a lot of people think Bernie Sanders has the same.
I would agree with you, but I will also say that, speaking of Clinton being pushed to the left, I think Donald Trump is being pushed to the right by folks like Ted Cruz or Rubio or this conservative cabal, these constitutional conservatives. So I agree that politicians are chameleons and they have to go more left or more right in a primary race. But once we get to a general election, we see more of the center, because ultimately the middle elects the next president.
Look, you got a lot more authenticity on the Republican side, okay? You got to take a look at history. Republicans have repeatedly picked the last runner-up from the previous nomination fight and went up against some fresh new face on the Democrat side. It's totally flipped the side if Hillary Clinton is the nominee. She's the last year's runner-up, and whoever's picked on the Republican side is a fresh, bold, new face. Republicans on this ticket are far more authentic than Hillary Clinton. And that's what makes Bernie Sanders look appealing.
Well, Bernie's going to have to start, to your point, duking it out.
And
he's going to have to start sharpening the knives,
this is a
bringing
blood
the guns.
sport. He's better bring his best, or else he's going to lose the nomination fight. He'll do well in New Hampshire, but he's got to do. And if I were him, I'd be in South Carolina
I just
this
fundamentally,
week.
I think that he's going to have a hard time winning the nomination because Americans are capitalists. We are capitalists. That's part of who we are as a nation. Part of why we declared our independence from Great Britain. We wouldn't want to get taxed anymore. I mean, we don't like taxes.
But when we can get everything for free, college tuition for free.
We know that's not going to work. That's not a kind of utopia that
will get people to vote. Bernie Sanders should be campaigning in South Carolina this week because that's where he can compete.
Well, I would agree. Nevada, South Carolina, Florida, he's polling really badly compared to Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Hillary Clinton might as well do the best that she can do in New Hampshire. It's basically not going to work for her.
To the South.
She's moving on. She's moving on.
Danielle, thank you so much. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Coming up, everyone.